Hello, everyone, and welcome to our group call for the 6th of April 2025. Hope you've all had a fantastic couple of weeks. I know we've had a 2-week break from our group calls. And as you can see, I'm sporting my South African shirt. So I was in South Africa for the last 2 weeks and went for my parents' 60th wedding anniversary. So we had family flying in from all over the world. And it was quite an amazing couple of weeks spent in South Africa. We went to a nice game reserve, the Pilanesberg National Park, which was fantastic. Saw some really good animals. Also went to a nice lion farm or lion park. So amazing seeing these incredible animals in their natural habitat, as well as up close, more in a conservatory area. So that was quite an amazing experience. But, back into the swing of things with the DTB system. And, I know you guys have had a really good week with the game plan. And I just want to start by thanking, I entrusted, 2 members of our group, Christopher and Bruce, to look after our game plan for the weeks while I was away. And I must say they did an absolutely fantastic job. So thank you so much to you guys, for jumping on that. I know it was a bit of late notice too, but, you guys were very gracious in that and, looking after the members while I was away. So, one of the important things I want to do for this business too is make sure that it is able to run and sustain and, be looked after while I am away. So, that is, one thing I'm going to keep working towards and, making sure that everything can run extremely smoothly. So talking about that, let's look at our results for last week. So thank you guys again. You guys put together this amazing game plan, and these were the results from last week. So, we had all 4 templates that you guys had shared. They were all 4 profitable ending the week. So that was quite an incredible thing. So, thanks again. That's truly amazing. So I hope you guys, that ran the game plan was able to, achieve similar results. Some of you may have stopped, the strategies earlier. And I'm just going to also monitor the chat. So yeah, apart from actually being away for the 2 weeks, I also celebrated my wedding anniversary yesterday. So 22 years. So it was quite a cool thing because my parents had their 60th and then we had our 22nd. So, us guys, we can keep those women down by the looks of it, we can hold in those reins. So there we go. Game plan. Thanks again, guys. Magic. And not only that, you guys have constantly showed your constantly showed your results in the group results. So we've got our group results chat on Discord over here too. So, thanks for popping those results in there too. And I see even today, this session, Bruce has already had a few strategies running, and he looks like he only ran them for a few minutes. So you can see how crazy the market action has been today. There's, all these gaps you're seeing in the price here is basically NinjaTrader, just receiving price at points that it couldn't even keep up with price. So, but we still had the strategies running, and you guys had fantastic results. There's the MES. So well done on, on running those. And you can see you only ran it from 647 to 657. So it's like 10 minutes of running the strategies today. What's this one here? 635 to 640. That's like 5 minutes. It's unbelievable. So, in just a few minutes, you can have the strategies perform extremely well. But, as you said, you stopped early because it's absolutely crazy. And unbelievably wide spreads in the market, which we'll look at in a moment. So let's just pull that aside. And I'm going to constantly watch the stuff happening in the group there. So thank you again for posting. And thanks, Christopher. All right. So I wanted to cover a few things today. So we haven't updated the assembly because obviously I've been away. So we've kept the existing assembly. So I'm going to cover this today. So we're going to look at the signal chart. And, especially in times of volatility, we want to be able to adjust our signal charts to be able to trade effectively, so that we can still take advantage of market moves. So that is what we're going to look at over here. And then we're also going to look at our game plan for the week ahead. So I'm not 100% sure this. I mean, I left 2 weeks ago and the price was on like 20,000. Now it's on like 16 and a half. I don't know what the hell you guys have done while I was away, man. Americans are crazy. Anyway, crazy market moves, but we'll look at how to adjust those, those signal charts to be able to trade that effectively. All right, so let's look at our signal chart first of all. Okay, let me disable this camera. I'm sure you guys are, can't get enough of my cool Africa shirt. So let me just disable that. Okay, so you'll see on the show me the money signal chart, you'll see I've got a few, I've changed the bar size to a 60-60. So in the data series, because the market is absolutely swinging at this stage, it's like a brothel on steroids. We've basically adjusted the bar size to a 60-60. So we've normally had it on a 20 and a 20. So I've put it on a 60 and a 60. Now, obviously, on different instruments, you want to adjust, depending on what instrument you're using, MES, GC. There's a few others, and you want to adjust the bar size to a size that looks presentable on the chart, where you're still able to take advantage of market action. So MNQ, NQ, I think for this period, a 60-60 is okay for the Asian session. I don't know what's going to happen during the New York session. It could be absolutely, but I think this is a decent size to work with. You might even go to a 80-80 or 100-100, But one of the things that is really it's really absolutely crazy, is this difference between the bid and the ask. I mean, look at this, 56.61, 54.61, 57.61. So you're looking at between 5 and almost 10 points. That's like 5 times 4. It's like 20 to 60 ticks difference between bid and ask. So, in my opinion, that's absolutely criminal. Should never ever get that way. But this is what we have to work with. So, you gotta be able to look at what the chart is telling you with a bar size that is still, a relative size to what you're working with. And, be mindful when you are looking at entering or scalping positions, because you've got a hell of a distance to travel before you break even, because of the difference between bid and ask. Normally in normal market conditions, we're going to see a 3 to 4 tick difference. We're looking at 20 to 30 to 40 ticks. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So going to the indicators, you will see that I've made a few adjustments over here. So the shadow trading, I always keep as it is, because that is extremely accurate, even in these high market conditions. Look at the arrows. You can see the arrows. I mean, they're beautiful. They still always pick up those high probability reversals. Okay, Fibonacci levels, you obviously do not change them, because they are accurately picking up the support and resistance levels. Now, the breakout volume markers. Okay, so the breakout volume markers are the ones that you can adjust. Now, what I've done here is I've adjusted the time frame reset. So this time frame reset is the signal distance away in ticks. So what that basically means is that every X amount of ticks, the signal is going to forcibly look for new signals. Okay. So in a on a 2020 bar, we have this as 200, because, that is a reasonable amount for the price to move away from the marker to give us a decent signal. But if you go into a 40-40 bar, you'll make this 400. If you're on a 60-60 bar, you'll make it 600. So you're making it relative to the bar size that you are working with, and considering the volatile situation that we're currently under. So all that this means is that these indicators, and you can see I've made them all on 600, means they're only going to reset when the price moves 600 ticks away from the markers. So you'll see there's a marker over here. I'm not sure why this line is not showing, but you'll see like here's a marker here, 37 to 34. So what's happened is since this marker was left behind a few seconds ago, the price has moved 257 ticks. It's moved down 257 ticks from when this marker was left behind. And right now you can see there's, there's a few different markers in play over here with different tick values. So they are going to be there. Now, I'm trying to work out, like here is the one for the crimson. Okay, so that's the crimson one over here. Now, I'm not sure why because the color marker up and down, that's what that's showing over there. You've got the breakout volume color, which is this one over here. We've got the marker itself, okay, which is this one over here. So I'm not sure why. I'm just going to change this to Dodger Blue temporarily and put it back onto Crimson. Okay, that didn't actually make a difference. So there's supposed to be a line in between here. Okay, so that's now reset to there. I just find it very odd how some of these are showing where they should be. Like the white one. See the white one? The white one is showing perfectly where it should be. It's over there and it's between the two numbers, but for some reason the the lines and the numbers are not lining up with the rest. Now it's the exact same indicator. It's not like it's a different indicator. It's the exact same indicator, just different values applied to it. And for some reason, not lining up. So I call that mysteries of NinjaTrader. And I leave it at that. Okay? That's how it is. Because there's no reason, like there, you can see that line repositions itself and the numbers are between. So there's it's just a plotting way of just NinjaTrader's not showing the data like it's supposed to, basically. That's what it comes down to. It's not the indicator, because that is accurately showing the values. There's the marker. That one obviously repositions itself, but there should definitely be a line in between. So whenever you see numbers like this, there should be you should just imagine there's a line in between, just like there's one over here. So that is what this has done. And sometimes I just have to refresh the chart, I guess. Okay, so, but the point of this is, adjusting these time frame resets to be able to accommodate larger moves in the market so that, they don't reset too frequently. The manipulation filter I've left as is. You'll see it's on top there. And what I've also done is the trend following. So the trend following, I've adjusted this to a range chart on the Show Me the Money. And I've made it 100. So default, I think it was 20 or 40. So again, you're adjusting this size according to the bar size you're working with. Now 100, might be fine. You might want to go 80. So, I mean, you can adjust this slightly, based on, what the chart is looking like. So, you can adjust them and just, there's no 100% definite settings to use. It's basically what is showing you the most accurate signal. So when you're going back and you're looking at the chart, you're looking at, how have these indicator settings, how have they historically plotted against the price, and have they accurately held up price, or have they actually shown high points of support and resistance? So like this value here, 80, you can see over here, failed a bit over there, broke through, kind of failed over there, so it's held it up. So just looking back at today's session, you can more or less see, that looks pretty decent. So, that's an 80 setting compared to 100. And it's just giving you a slightly finer value over there. So look, there's a marker that's just been left behind. There's the white one. You can see the white one was just left behind over there, and the price has shot up. The orange one has stayed in place over there. So they're going to constantly reset. Now, it doesn't mean that when you adjust this value to 600, that it's only going to reset at 600. What that 600 value does is it forcibly resets the indicator to look for another opportunity. So, you can have these values in the indicator as high as you want. And in fact, if you make these like, 2,000 or 3,000, these values, what will happen is they will only plot where the signal generated from. But sometimes, the price could move on 2,000 ticks from where that marker was left behind, because that was the last signal that it gave at that specific level, instead of it giving you, additional signals to take advantage of. So I find it a good rule of thumb to always times it by 10. So if you've got a 60 bar like we have over here, I've just made it a 600. So that's kind of how I've envisioned this indicator. This is how I set it up when I designed it. I basically, came up with that value. But like I said, it's not set in stone, right? That's why we've got the ability to be able to adjust these values over here. And same goes for the range and, all of that. So, looking at this chart, you'll be able to generate, good signals from it. You can see the breakout markers are being left behind. You can see there's a 385 over there. Here's a, this white one, this last white one was left behind over here. We had a good move up, and these are good ticks. There's 60, 12, 180 ticks. So there's still decent opportunities to jump into the market, using the signal charts. So, don't just stick with the one size. It's very important to be able to adjust your charts based on, what you are seeing, in the market, because, we're never ever going to have the exact same market conditions all the time. And you can see now, look there, 48, 52. So it's kind of a slowing down a little bit. I don't know what happened at the beginning of the market. I don't know what happened there. I didn't look at any news or anything like that. And we also don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the day. If it's going to be extremely volatile, or is it going to settle down a little bit? So I guess for the rest of the week, we need to just look at how the market is reacting. Because, as soon as we have NinjaTrader not able to keep up with price, the price could be moving so fast that the bars are not even updating. I mean, that happens a lot. So we want to make sure that, we're not caught in an environment where we're not able to read the price accurately because the chart is not keeping up with the price. So bear that in mind as we go. And with the game plan, I've prepared the game plan document. So I'll just bring that up on the screen over here. You'll see this is the game plan for the week ahead. And what we've done is we've done one NQ chart for the baseline wick trader, reasonably conservative. And you can see I've only the last few days are on this chart, even though it's been optimized for a much larger period. So you can still go and set up your game plan according to this chart over here. So I've got NQ, I've got an MNQ template, also nice and conservative. And then on the third one, I've got an MGC. So I've only got the 3 charts this week. And, it's obviously, just I'm just getting back into the swing of things on my side. And I'm just, easing back into the game plan template. So we've got 3 templates over here. But what I did see earlier is that there have been some really awesome templates shared in the Discord chat. So, make sure you guys who are wanting to trade extra templates. I mean, there's some really fantastic templates shared in here. So, you can download these templates. You guys know how to download these templates. You download them to your computer, save them to the right folder. So there's been good templates shared over there, as well as in the SI chat. So, there's a few amazing templates shared in there too. So, run through those and, selectively choose which one you want to run. I mean, the guys have shown really good consistency with their templates and doing very well with them. I mean, we've seen some really, really incredible results in our chats. So, that's a testament to the power of these templates. And, once you guys are able to manage your strategies effectively, you're going to see that, you're going to be able to really, achieve amazing results using these the strategies. So fantastic to see the incredible results shared in here. So please continually sharing these. You'll see, I really enjoy, looking through this chat, and, I'm really excited of, where we're going with the DTB system, so, and I'm continuing developing, I'm actually working on a new strategy over the next week, which is going to be specifically created around price action. So, there's a lot of automated strategies created in the market for 5-minute bars, 15-minute bars, 30-minute bars, hourly bars, all the made up data series. But I'm creating a price action automated strategy that specifically works with the DTB bars and works on those types of bar formations that are, that we discussed before, like on the 80-20 bar where we, I wonder if I've got one of these charts over here. Like the 80-20 bar where we had, I might just duplicate this in a new tab to show you guys what I quickly mean. Duplicating new tab. So if we go to like an 80-20 chart, is it a 20-80 or 80-20? 20-80. So I'll just bring that up, bring this up over here. And I'm just going to remove this indicator. Now, this is probably a little bit too busy. I might switch it to a larger chart. But basically, we're looking for those abnormal type of bar formations where the price goes, straight up, straight down, and then enters a position. So we have very specific types of price action, that enters positions. So that's the benefit when you have guaranteed price levels too. And I might just switch this to a larger chart. So I'm going to be incorporating a few different data series into the strategy. And, we might even go to let's go to a 4200. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Because obviously we're looking at larger data series. So like as an example. So the exact same thing applies over here. When you see this type of thing, the automated strategy is basically going to be entering, with a target and a stop, with a good solid target and stop. So we're looking for this type of thing, and there's going to be signals created around this. So one of the signals will be this. Another signal will be, 1 bar down, 1 bar up. So, we're going to be able to have an automated strategy that's going to be able to pick up these type of price formations, on the chart and actually enter those on the automated strategy. And I just have to see how it's going to deal with this incredible jumping of price. I mean, look, the price has been jumping so much that it's not even filling the bars because there's inaccurate price data being fed to us. Looking back at last week, so you'll see very often, those type of bar formations are extremely profitable, when entering positions. So, very often when we see stuff like this, we're going to have the price going up, a decent amount of ticks, or down a decent amount of ticks. So there's a whole strategy being developed around that. And like I said, there's going to be a few variants to it, picking up different formations. So one thing you guys can look at over the week, if you're interested in this type of a thing, is, look at different types of bar formations and different types of price actions. I mean, you might even have a setup where, okay, if the price goes 1 bar down and then one then breaks up, 1 bar up, then we want to enter on this position as an example. So there's a few different strategies, I can create a signal that whenever this happens, it will sell. So, that's what we're trying to look at when it comes to abnormal bar formations. And you can see how incredibly powerful and accurate this is, at identifying, trades. So the benefit with a strategy like this is there's no need for any optimization, because we just basically are working off price action only. So, it doesn't matter what the price does during a trading day, because we're going to have, we're going to have those patterns continue. And this is what you call a true price pattern. You know what I mean? So this is a true chart pattern because it's relying on guaranteed price levels. When you're looking at a 5-minute chart, you're going to have wicks all over the place. You're not going to be able to tell anything about the price because you haven't got those guaranteed price levels. But as soon as you got guaranteed price levels, like what the DTB bars has, it puts trading into a whole different level. And, and that is where, why the DTB system is so exceptionally powerful, because, we look at price properly and we don't stuff around with minute bars. Okay, so that is that. I think, yeah, so that's what I'm working on this week. So if you guys want to contribute to that, that'll be awesome. And what else did I want to cover? I think that was primarily it for this week. So we're going to, continually, I hope that signal chart helped you guys a bit over there, with just getting the price action, the volatility. So adjusting your signal chart. So you might even also look at the taken and run signal chart. Again, this one's using a 20-20. So there you can go and adjust accordingly. You might make this a 60-60 and then adjust the indicators accordingly. So whatever you're trading, however you're trading this week, whether you're trading the automated strategies, in the game plan, or you're trading your own strategies, make sure to manage them very well, because we're going to have situations where the price is going to be shooting all over the place. NinjaTrader may not even be able to keep up with the price. And, there might be gaps between the price. So be very careful and mindful of the strategies this week. And also, obviously with your automated trading and your manual trading with all the different templates, just keep a close eye on them, until we can get some sort of normality return. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for jumping on the call. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Please continue posting your results. And, I look forward to catching up with a few of you guys during the week. Any questions, I'm here. Anything you guys want to run by me, run by the group, please share. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic week and chat soon.